Hold on, Delta.
All right.
Oh, wrestling is back, baby.
Yep.
Wrestling is very, very entertaining. Well, if you're watching Raw right now or SmackDown, mainly SmackDown, but I would say this week Raw was the A show and SmackDown was the B show. I think we agreed on that earlier before hitting record. But because Monday Night Raw was actually very interesting. How's everybody doing? It's been quite a bit. You know, we have long gaps. We're trying to record more often. You know?
Yeah.
We got schedules. I have another entire YouTube channel to run. But don't think for a second we aren't thinking every day about you guys. Because we're like, yes, we must give them wrestling content. People want to hear about Men in Tights, Delta, fake fighting. We got to deliver them the news. Anyway, So, how's your week been?
Oh my God, dude. Well, outside of the stuff at IRL, I'm just trying to enjoy the Easter weekend, obviously with the family and everything. I don't know about you, but it's been a pretty hectic week. That's why we unfortunately missed this past week. So sorry about that, everyone. Just I at least on my end, I was kind of burning the candle at both ends last weekend. Unfortunately, it just wasn't in the cards to do last week. So, and I'm kind of glad we held off, frankly, this week because after what happened this past Monday, so at least we have a lot to discuss versus the previous week. At least, my opinion. I don't know about you, but I think it's like the previous week was kind of weak sauce. A lot of discuss, the whole back and forth with Cody, and I feel like they kind of like not giving Cody a lot of stuff to work with. This, my opinion, this time around with Monday Night Raw, and I think it's only because it was in Chicago. The reason why all of a sudden Raw became the A show this week versus to be the B show. I think that's the sole reason because you can definitely tell, especially on Monday with the Titantron being completely different than what we're used to.
Oh yeah,
and now they're back to the regular thing on Friday. So it's I don't know. So I say we go a little loose with this one here. Just give our thoughts on how we think of the situation so far. And we could talk about some stuff, but I think let's get right into it about how things went Monday with The Rock. Just randomly coming out of fucking nowhere.
Yeah, no one expected that.
That caught me by surprise.
Yeah.
Holy shit. The fact that he was not advertised. He was advertised for the following week to show up for the Barclays, which he is with Roman coming up this Monday. I did not expect The Rock to show up. I figured this would be a standard affair, boring as shit Monday. You might have the CM Punk show up and promote whatever he's doing, what he's gonna do for WrestleMania, whether he's gonna be the host or commentary, or maybe even a special guest referee, which I severely doubt. There's no way they're gonna take a chance of him getting hurt potentially in the ring while he's special guest refereeing. There's no way. Yeah. But either way, you never know. But I thought that was gonna be at most what we're gonna get the entire week for any highlights, but I was shocked to see The Rock show up.
I was actually surprised about Rock showing up on Monday. I really was, because I was like, when I saw that, I was like, oh, he ain't showing up on Friday then. I was like,
oh yeah, that's true.
I was like, he ain't showing up on Friday. The Rock showing up for more than 2 days of work. Yeah, right. What are you doing, crazy?
It's The Rock, baby.
But I will say though, like you pointed out, it was quite a surprise to see him on Monday night. I still don't understand how the brand split works. I don't think they're ever gonna explain to us how it works.
There's no such thing.
There's no there's drafts, but it doesn't really matter, because if you're on a brand, that doesn't mean you can't show up to the other brand and compete for their time. I always thought it was you're allowed to be on the other brand's shows, but you're not allowed to compete for those titles, maybe, kind of thing. But whatever. Either way, don't question it. Just consume product and get excited for next product kind of situation. But at the same time, The Rock coming out and he walks to the ring, right? And he just whispers in Cody Rhodes' ears after Cody Rhodes, Lithby promo.
Yeah, right.
It was extra Lithby this week too. I will say,
very Lithby.
Last week's promo he did on The Rock with super Lithby, very Lithby. And honestly, it did not resonate with me. A lot of people on social media were telling me, "Oh my God, Rhodes, he annihilated The Rock on the mic." And I check it out. I'm like, all he said is he has a small dick.
That's all he said. That's
He
what
just-
I thought the same thing. I was like, this is some weak shit. This is some weak sauce. What is going on here? Do you say little dick? That's it? Come on, bro.
I know. He says, and I know your mom too. I'm like, okay. Are you gonna insult her? Or, no, I'm classy. Boo.
Yeah, no, that's why you'll never win, Cody. That's why you're our favorite mid Carter.
Wrestling only has one family. I'll tell you who it is. It's the Samoan family, bro. Anyway.
Right.
Anyway, okay, so Rock comes out, whispers in his ear, and he left. And I when I saw that segment, I thought, oh man, this is it? That's all we got? Well, at least he showed up to Raw. And then none of us actually expected the beatdown that happened, backstage. I was so happy. I enjoyed every second of it, Delta. Every second of Cody Rhodes getting his ass kicked.
Same here. Thank God. That guy needed to get his ass whooped.
Yeah, that'll teach him to stop crying.
Yeah, stop fucking crying, you little bitch.
Stop crying.
We're gonna beat the sadness out of you.
It was funny because like The Rock pointed out a good thing in his promo last week. Like, oh, Cody Rhodes cries? That's what he does? And then next week, Cody Rhodes is like, yeah, sometimes men cry. I'm like, oh, you can't even defend yourself. I was like, anyway, so I think the rain, because it was raining in that outdoor segment backstage, I thought that really added to it. It looked pretty sick. Everything about that beatdown was perfect. Like, The Rock busted him open, showed the belt, sold us on the pay-per-view even more. I mean, I was sold on this pay-per-view before The Rock's involvement. Now there's like 5 friends who want to come over and watch WrestleMania with me because of The Rock. You know, so I'm wondering if like sales have gone up, or
totally
subscriptions have shot up because it's the fucking Rock beating the shit out of another wrestler. You haven't seen him do this in what, 10 years now?
Feels like it, doesn't it?
Almost like 10 years now. Except for that one time he who is it that he beat at WrestleMania? It was one of the Wyatts. I forgot which one. Was it Luke?
I think it was.
I think it was Luke Harper. He like pinned him within seconds. That was rough, but
yeah.
Anyway, what did you think? What did you think of like Rhodes just being emasculated and like beaten down to end the show?
I thought being beaten down was like, it was great to see out of nowhere. It was a nice surprise. I was wondering at first. I was like, so The Rock shows up out of the fucking blue, you know, and just comes in the ring and whispers something to Cody. You're wondering what the fuck, and he just leaves, and you're like, what the fuck is going on here? And like as Cody gives him that like blank stare, a little, you know. So I was like, oh, that's it. And of course, like, you know, Cody's got to like step in and help out Jey Uso with everything, you know, basically.
Yeah. Oh, don't forget. Yeah, honestly, I would say it's hilarious how like Sequoia was taking some like closed palm fists. And then like The Rock comes from behind and just whack. I'm like, yeah, dude. You could hear the audience pop, dude. The audience popped the fuck off for that segment when The Rock showed up and started beating the shit out of him. They're like, wow.
You know, the funny thing is too, like, you can definitely tell there is a difference in terms of like how wrestlers were trained during the Rock's era versus nowadays. Because like the way these dudes punch, it definitely lacks the emphasis on the punch versus The Rock. The Rock still has that punch down to the fucking science. When you see him punch, yeah, it's a fake punch, but it looks like the hardest punch that dude ever took. That's why I was wondering at first. I was like, why isn't Cody like ever fighting back at throughout this whole beatdown? Not once does he take like a potential chance to swing him back at The Rock. The Rock makes his punches make him seem like he really is the final boss. Like he really is that strong. Every punch he hits on you, that's like a really nasty sledgehammer to the face, basically.
Oh yeah, The Rock's punches, they look excellent. They always have. Like he's got some of my favorite. Him and Undertaker have some of my favorite punches, but just watching like old Attitude Era, Monday Night Raws and seeing the matches, I was like, I noticed in general that the wrestlers, like their swings look a lot more authentic.
They do.
And now hearing like, I mean, like, cause like Solo and Jimmy's punches looked so wobbly. They didn't look like, and so did Rhodes. But then The Rock comes out here and his punches look stiff. They look like Cody can't fight back because Rock dazed him. You know, like he hit him pretty good between the eyes, and he busted him up. And honestly, it would have been. I think it would have been even more dramatic if, like, instead of like, you know, going, you know, breathing at the end, if Rhodes was just completely blacked out, you know, just like, and his like tongue hanging out, like, it would have been great. But either way, it was obviously the most entertaining set. Well, I would say it was the most entertaining segment because the second one coming up is CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. Oh boy, was I happy to see CM Punk. He's I don't know, he looked pretty good out there today. This week he looked healthier. I don't know how to describe it, but he looked happier too. And let's actually go over what he said because his segment with Drew McIntyre was hilarious. So like Punk goes out there and he says you know, he has a lot to say. He has business to get to, but before that, they were live in Chicago, so you got that Chicago treatment. And everybody was asking CM Punk if he's going to be at Mania, and the answer is yes. But obviously, he's not going to be wrestling. That'd be stupid to put him in the ring after such an injury. Anyway, but anyway, and CM Punk reminds the audience that they're going to be on Netflix soon, and basically kind of hints that they're going to be able to start cussing. Freely.
Dude, I hope to God, like, please, if they go to Netflix, please stop with this PG nonsense. Go back to like not holding back anymore. I'm not saying go get yourself cut up every week like AEW does. You know?
Yeah, don't do swantons off of ladders onto glass tables like a retard. Don't do that.
Yeah, but when you see that, when you hear someone actually curse and shit, like it actually feels impactful. Versus like almost like every week on AEW. No offense to AEW, but like it's like so desensitized down to the point that it's nothing to me. There's no impact anymore like it was at first.
Yeah, no, and also like The Rock dropped a few F-bombs in his beatdown on Cody Rhodes. If you noticed, he said like he was telling like people trying to stop him. He's like, "Back the fuck off!" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yeah, dude." I was hyped, dude. It was great. It was again. Some of The Rock's best heel work of all time. He's just doing it
really
great.
is.
He's doing it great. But anyway, like CM Punk said, once they're on Netflix, it's going to be open season. I can't fucking wait for that. So he also says that so he tells the audience, what is he going to do at Mania? Is he going to host Mania? I know he wasn't going to do that. I don't think, I'm tired of WrestleMania having hosts. Just let it be a big event, you know?
It would have been cool to have him if they didn't have anything for him. I wish I would have been down for it, me personally. But
what would he do as a host? Have backstage segments or
backstage segments? Maybe still have some commentary segments or something like that. He still could do commentary and still host. Yeah. I mean, I don't know why. Yeah. Why not? But whatever.
CM Punk to me is kind of like a modern Roddy Piper in the sense that he fits anywhere in that company, like doing anything really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But so he says, he also hints at Chicago being the next place for another Mania. I don't think that's going to happen.
not right now. Minneapolis looks like the most likely candidate that's going to get it. Unfortunately, whatever. If you're in Minneapolis area and listen to this, and good for you guys. I don't see the reason to go to Minneapolis for WrestleMania. That's just me though.
Yeah. So people really love Punk. So he says. So I think he basically says he's going to be doing commentary for the Rollins and Drew match, right? I think that's basically what he's going to be doing. Yeah. He also makes a reference to Jim Cornette. I was quite surprised. Dude, I was very...
Social media was losing their mind over that.
Bro, I was shocked to see CM Punk actually reference Jim Cornette. That's like a name you don't hear in wrestling too often anymore. From, the company. I mean, everybody knows who Jim Cornette is. I mean, I like listening to Jim Cornette because there's funny moments. He can be a little too political sometimes, but he does have his moments where he's hilarious. He's like, goddamn wrestlers trying to wrestle like they're goddamn video game characters. It's just... Anyway, It was good to hear that. Okay, so yeah, Drew comes out, and then they have a funny ass back and forth segment. I thought it was great, and I thought it was also it felt very real because you know how a lot of wrestling promos, two wrestlers have like their back and forth, and there's a lot of pauses in between sentences
Yeah.
and stuff. This was just straight shooting from the hip, you know, like pew, pew, you know. It was great. It was awesome. It felt authentic. It felt like Drew McIntyre really meant it when he said like, you know, he was spiteful of CM Punk, and it really feels authentic when CM Punk is like, "Oh yeah, I know you're spiteful of me. I'm gonna rub it in your face." I'm like, "This is great," you know.
Yeah.
Drew
Like
McIntyre.
I said, I'm really excited to see like once Punk gets back into the ring again. I'm so excited to see that those two go at it. Like it's
Yeah.
gonna be so awesome.
And Drew,
Holy shit.
yeah, Drew does that thing again where like he tells the cameraman, "Don't put the camera up his skirt, you perv."
Yeah. Do not shoot up my kilt, you perv.
Yeah. And Drew McIntyre copies CM Punk sit. CM Punk fucking lays on the mat. It was awesome. It was great. And then of course it was great until Seth Rollins came out there.
But no, the reaction though when Seth Rollins' music popped and CM Punk just like so fucking, you definitely tell there's some resentment between the two.
Yeah.
And it's like as soon as he heard Seth Rollins' music pop, he gets down on his fucking knees and starts banging his head on the microphone over and over. It's like, just get me out of here, please. I can't stand this fucking asshole.
Yeah. Honestly though, it would be, man, dude. I want Drew and Seth. I want Drew to actually be able to beat Seth cleanly because if Drew doesn't beat him at Mania, he's never going to beat him, bro.
I know. I hope.
Holy
I hope to God
shit.
that Drew does win. If Drew wins, you know, Punk's gotta do the narration and congratulate him on his win. Oh man, that's gonna build up the hype for that match eventually. That's gonna be great.
Yeah, because the thing is, oh my God, Drew has lost to Rollins clean too many times for that
Hmm.
title. So for me, like the match was like, oh, these two are gonna wrestle at, you know, Mania again. But now the stakes are even higher because of these promos and these moments with CM Punk. I'm like, Drew has to fucking win.
Yeah,
He
that's
has to rub it in CM Punk's face at commentary. I hope CM Punk doesn't like, you know. I'm pretty sure they're gonna do a switcheroo where Punk interrupts it, like the crowd gets behind Drew because it's that good of a match, and then CM Punk costs him the match, and then CM Punk becomes the heel, Drew becomes the baby face. That dynamic could happen. You know, there's always those switcheroos that happen at pay-per-views.
Oh yeah.
This could be one of those moments. Who knows? But as it is right now, I'm actually pretty excited for this match because I do want Drew to win. I'm invested now. So, anyway, Seth Rollins comes out and he says, see, he says nothing. He just says gobbledygook. We'll just say that. And then, you know, Drew McIntyre turns his back and Rollins finally gets the curb stomp on him. Nakamura had a promo, apparently. I didn't even notice this. Did you?
No, not really.
See, yeah, Nakamura had a promo, apparently. I don't.
Nakamura is really kind of like put into the background for this like the last couple months. Like I don't know what's up with this guy.
Which
Like, I don't know what
sucks.
they're doing with him.
Because he had a good program with Rollins, and then he had a short one with Rhodes, too, as well. Like a very short one. I don't know. I like heel Nakamura. I like how they're presenting him a lot more. Jey
Yeah,
Uso,
me too.
yeah, Jey Uso gets to go to WrestleMania to have his match against his brother. Nobody actually cares about this match, surprisingly. It's unfair. Why does Jay's dream get to come true? What about Shinsuke Nakamura's dream? Tonight, Nakamura is going to turn Jay's dream into a nightmare. So I guess Nakamura's not going to be at Mania. Fuck.
No,
Poor guy.
it'd probably be anything being the Andre the Giant Battle Royale, if anything.
I wouldn't mind him winning that at the very least. Like, then there was the New Day versus DIY. I missed this match. Sorry. Ivy Nile versus Maxine Dupree versus Candice LeRae versus Hindi Hartwell.
The Candice
Indy
LeRae,
Hartwell.
the matches for the most part, I'm not gonna lie, for Monday Night Raw were pretty forgettable. Not gonna lie, like even Candice LeRae's match ended up with her faking an injury and doing a roll up and winning the match.
Yeah.
Like that's how it played out that way.
Now
So,
every
and that's the thing is,
yeah.
I wonder what they're gonna. I wonder why are they doing this with Candice LeRae? Like what are they building towards? Like, are they building her for backlash because they know that she ain't involved with, with the whole thing with the women's championship? Like,
I
I don't know
don't
what they're doing
know.
with her.
I have no clue, but she got the pinfall, so
Hmm.
yeah. Anyway, then the New Day versus DIY. Monley was telling us he doesn't like DIY.
I like DIY because I like Johnny Wrestling. I love Tommaso Ciampa. I want
Yeah.
Tommaso Ciampa to eventually do a singles run and go for the belt. I think he's be just great out there. That's just my thoughts though. He was great when he was NXT champ back then. So I'd love to see him get a run on the main roster.
I originally liked his pairing with the Miz, but now looking back, I'm like, that was actually probably the worst decision made for Tommaso. Was
Yeah, it was.
to book him with the Miz because he doesn't fit as a follower. He just doesn't fit as a henchman for the Miz.
No,
It didn't fit him at all.
it really kind of downplays how great his run was at NXT.
Yeah,
It really
no.
does downplay it a lot.
But his championship match with Gunter that elevated him. So now he's on some people's radars because that was an excellent match.
Yeah.
And which kills me that Sami Zayn is Gunter's opponent.
I don't. Everyone on the internet is pretty much saying the same thing: is that Sami Zayn should not be there. No offense to Sami, but I'd rather have, what's his name, Chad Gable. I'd rather have Chad Gable there. I feel like that should be a way bigger story versus Sami. And I love Sami to death. I think Sami is a fantastic wrestler, but I really do think he should not be there. I think Chad Gable should be there this time around.
Thank you. Yes, I
Right?
agree. Okay. All right. DIY won that match by disqualification. So,
Yeah.
don't you just love it when a match ends in DQ?
Oh,
Match.
yeah.
I paid to have a DQ ending. Yes. Anyway. So and then Andre El Idolo. So Idolo. I don't know why they changed his name. Just call him Andrade, and we're good.
And just say Andrade. Come on.
Yeah,
Now.
and then he had a match with Giovanni Vinci. Hey, look at that! Imperium still exists.
Imperium still being poor Giovanni Vinci is being the sacrificial lamb almost every week. Like Ludwig Kaiser gets more wins than Giovanni Vinci. He really is like the non-spoken member that no one gives a shit about in Imperium.
He also has
no one gives a shit about Giovanni.
He has the strangest physique too. He just looks a little weird, but
He does, but I really wish that I don't know what it is with them. They just they hype Gunther up, which they should because he's fantastic. But like you and I both talked about this previous weeks, and I agree with you that they should be hyping the faction up as a whole. They should all stand on their own things. It feels like they did that only with Judgment Day.
Yeah,
For the most part, and then they just kind of we'll just put factions in here because we need to put people here that don't really get a lot of TV time, so we're just gonna put them as a faction now.
Yeah, and you know what? Actually, they did get their moment. It was a couple of Raws ago. Remember where Gunter was out on vacation celebrating, and he told them he expects them to man the fort, and then Ludwig had that match with Cody, and then he took him out because he was angry. He took out Giovanni, and then Gunter comes out next week. I thought that was awesome. I was like, finally, we're building character here.
Yeah.
They're more than just Ludwig is more than just the guy doing the Nazi march on his way out there. He's just now he's actually developed a character where he's like, hey, you fuck with one of our boys, I will end your career, and it was great. And then Gunter coming out next week to congratulate him for that violence. I was like, awesome. This is great. I like it. But we need more of that. I mean, there are so many factions in this company though, so they all have to get screen time at one point. It's just up to fans on who they're more invested in, and fans are just not that invested in Imperium. I think they just need to have more segments, and then fans really will be invested in them, because I know Ludwig and Gunter are great. Giovanni, poor guy, he's just there to eat pins, like you said, because he lost this match. Andrade needs the win, though. He's just getting back.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, Triple H and Cody Rhodes will appear at the Pat McAfee show at Mania. God, dude, are you going to be watching all the Are you gonna be watching everything leading up to Mania, like all the?
I plan on it right now because I am on an early morning schedule, so I do plan on watching the shows when they're live if I can throughout the week.
Mm-hmm.
I am off this weekend for Mania, so I will be attending both NXT's pay-per-view on night one and night one itself and night two. So I will be watching wrestling all weekend long for this whole thing. Because
Yeah.
it's WrestleMania weekend, of course, and WrestleMania week's upon us now.
Yeah. I have a bro, and he's like, I have a baby shower. I'm like, hey, guess who
Plus
doesn't
the
care?
baby shower,
I'm like,
it's WrestleMania week.
I'm like, guess who doesn't care? Ha ha.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, sorry, bro, you picked a bad time to impregnate your girl.
Got something going on this week. Sorry,
Honestly,
my bad.
I'm sorry, but like, night one, I'm gonna be grilling. Night two, I'm gonna be ordering pizza. All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm
That's the plan.
two back-to-back
Especially-
cheat days. Two back-to-back cheat days, man.
Especially since we have NXT's pay-per-view, we're gonna have to watch that as well. You know, that's before leading up prior to night one, so we'll have to be watching that as well.
Yeah, ever since Taker showed up at NXT, I'm like, okay, I can't miss NXT now. Who knows? Because you don't
Dude,
know.
NXT. I've been attending NXT the last couple of weeks. Not this past week, unfortunately, because I had some of this stuff going on. But I have been attending NXT live in person, and it's been actually pretty interesting to go to the Performance Center and see how things are. So,
All right, awesome. Triple H and Cody Rhodes. Oh, right, I already read that. Rhea Ripley,
Yeah,
Becky
yeah.
Lynch, and Dominic Mysterio segment. This is the man. I gotta say, I know. I'm not saying it to be a dick, okay? Because I legitimately do like her as a person, and I, worry for her because I'm a fan. But Becky Lynch is just. Why did Becky Lynch do the surgery to her face? Like,
dude, I gotta say right now, this and also an interview recently regarding Rhea Ripley's video of her doing the stink face. I don't know what it is with Becky Lynch. I don't know if she's just coming off as a prude and she just doesn't I don't know. She's supposed to be the female role model for the little girls and everything. But good God, you are such a wet blanket lately. I don't know what is with you with this lately because you have done some scandalous shit in the past too, girl. So don't throw rocks at a glass house right now.
She took that nude photo with Rollins with the belts on, I don't even know why she did that.
She's on the stink face. She's on the stink face too in the
Yeah.
past and other shit. So like, who are you to make that judgment?
I don't know where
on Rhea Ripley.
I don't know if like the way she says it's almost heelish, right?
It does feel like she's almost the unintentional heel, and she's making Rhea the face in the situation for the audience. I think a lot of people are more excited for Rhea than seeing Becky in the match right now.
I also really like how calm and relaxed Rhea is during their back and forths, and meanwhile, Becky's out here like catching her breath every sentence. I don't know why you're doing that. I'm like, Jesus Christ, girl, come. You sound like you're about to die giving this promo. Just stop.
She made that. Was she like she was holding back her tears about her dad? I was like, oh my God, please! I get enough of this crying from Cody Rhodes. I don't need to hear from you, Becky. I'm sorry.
You know what's crazy? What's crazy is like in the world of like old school wrestling fans like you and me would be like, oh, but the new generation is like, oh. I'm serious. Like that shit works.
Ever.
That shit
biggest
works.
Softies ever. I swear to God, bro.
I mean, you and me know plenty of streamers that if they get sentimental in their audience, they're always like, "Oh, have money." You know what I mean? Like it's just because that kind of shit works. Maybe that's why she's doing it, but really, honestly, I just got to say though, Becky looks awful. I'm sorry, and I'm not saying it again because I hate on her or anything, but like why did you do this surgery? Like Becky was like just fine the way she was before, but also I'm looking at her like, please eat a sandwich, have a cookie, take multiple cheat days, girl. Like what in the fuck?
I don't know what's going on with Becky. Was she like? I don't know what's her deal. I don't know it. Frankly, I don't want to know.
And honestly, I'm sorry, but hey, girl, I can clearly see you're going through some shit, but please, for the love of God, keep it to yourself.
Get your shit together.
Keep it to yourself and get
it together.
Get your shit together. I was just gonna say though, just does not look like a believable opponent for Rhea. Rhea looks like she would squash her. You know, it doesn't look like Becky. Like every time Becky takes a bump, I have to cringe and look away a bit because I'm like, oof. You know, it looks. You know, she's just small, thin, frail, and Rhea is just like this Amazonian fucking like model. Like it's insane. It's absolutely insane. My money is on Rhea, and I don't even know if Becky, like, due to her current like physical condition, I'm not sure she can give her the kind of match that's Mania worthy. But
yeah, yes and no. She had that awesome match, honestly, with her and Nia Jax this past Monday, with her leading to the leg drop off the ladder. She could do it.
right.
I just don't. I'm not really excited for the idea of having Becky back with the belt. I really am not. I don't know. I'll be fine with Rhea going another year at this point, the way things are going.
Rhea is just the most believable champion on the roster until the debut of that last chick on SmackDown. She looks like she's like a worthy opponent for Rhea. So we'll talk
her or fucking the EST, you know,
yeah.
her like, and what the fuck is her name now? Bianca Belair.
Yeah.
You know, like her, like they've been hyping that up even when Rhea got the belt. When she got the belt, they hyped that up. That could be fine. I'd be fine with that going next WrestleMania and just like give Rhea 2 years with the belt and then drop the belt then.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
But anyway, I'm still obsessed with Mommy, and I'll be obsessed with her for a long time. Cause like, those man, dude, you've convinced me that I don't need to go to these live shows. I need to go to the
house shows,
the untaped shows, because they like Rhea does some crazy shit over there. I'm like, oof, whoo.
Yes, sir.
She completely pulls back her you can tell, like, Rhea Ripley's like, as soon as I'm done with this wrestling, I'm going to make an OnlyFans, you know.
Oh, you know that's gonna happen. Yeah,
you know she's gonna make an OnlyFans. I mean, that girl can sell her body all she wants. She works hard to maintain it. You go. You go. Like, if you work that hard to maintain a body like that, you deserve to sell it. Some people out here don't work at all, and their bodies look grotesque, and like, please buy my nudes. I'm like, are you out of your mind?
Okay, your mind.
Anyway, so yeah, Becky punches Dominic in the face. I gotta say, it looked like she actually did legitimately punch him.
She did, legitimately, she did punch him in the fucking face, because I saw that jaw get rocked.
I saw it, I saw it. She looks like she legitimately, like Dom probably told her, actually go ahead and punch me. Because, like, she definitely gave him one. And, you know, Dom's, like, you know, in his head knowing this isn't going to do anything to me. I'm a man. But in reality, it looked like he did get a little shook there. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious. But, yeah, that's about that with their segment. And then, you know, then she had her match with Nia, which I didn't give a shit about. Sami Zayn walks past Chad Gable in the backstage area. Sami says that there's nothing to talk about. He knows what Gunter is saying. He's going to make him eat his words. Yeah, sure. Gable says that's Sami. Nobody believes in Sami on this one. We all believed in him last Mania, and this Mania, like, we have no faith in you. Gable says that Sami needs to focus at the task at hand. He needs to get his head out of his ass. Sami says that Gable's right. He appreciates the sentiment. Sami and Gabe shake it. See, even Sami knows Gable deserves that match more.
Yep.
And then Sami fought Bronson Reed. And Bronson won?
Yeah, he won that match.
Oh, yay, Bronson! That's a big win for him. For him, that's a win. Yeah, so yeah, Zayn repeatedly kicks Reed in the face. Zayn drops Reed with the DT, but counters with an inside out running splash. Reed connects with Suna. It was a clean win too.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, we got Sami losing on his way to Mania.
Like I said, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense of why we're building this matchup. There's not very much hype to this match. It really should be Gable.
The only hope I have, Delta, the only hope I have is if next week, if next week, you know, Sami comes out there to give a heartfelt promo, and then Brock Lesnar comes out and just massacres him. Just like, yay! Just beats the shit out of him. Destroys him, and then it's like, and then he gets the mic and he says, Gunter, I'm your real opponent, or some bullshit like that, you know?
Yeah.
That's the only hope we have left, because, my God, like, you know, even Gunter, like, in his real life is like, man. I was like, that would have been a career highlight for him. Oh, well. Anyway, Jay Uso knows that Shinsuke Nakamura has been hating on his dream. Hating! He plans to wake up Nakamura tonight. Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa walks up right next to Jay. Jimmy says, no yeet, and walks off. Chad Gable continues to offer Sami Zayn encouragement following his loss to Bronson Reed. Gable says that Zayn needs a different approach heading into Mania. Gable gives a hint that he's willing to help Zayn out. Oh. What do you think? Do you think like Gable might be setting up Zayn to get hurt and take his spot?
Maybe. I don't know.
I mean, even I would take even Gable over Zayn, because Gable like had an impressive showing against Gunter. Not that
Well, that's
I
what
don't
I'm
think,
saying.
Yeah.
It makes more sense. So I hate we keep repeating ourselves here, but it doesn't make sense to why we're
storyline wise, it makes sense, because last time Chad said, I'm winning that belt, I swear to God, I actually believed him. You know? So anyway, Seth Rollins, The Rock and Roman Reigns will be on Raw next week. So the both of them are going to be on next week. Okay.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say earlier.
Yeah. So they're going to, no, that means they're not going to show up on SmackDown. I know that there's not going to be anything planned for SmackDown, because it's
possible they probably will show up for both, because it is the last week before WrestleMania. They have to build up whatever's left. You know, possible.
Most nights before Mania are just like basically house shows, live house shows. It's
it depends.
Yeah,
It really
because
depends.
I mean, there was one like SmackDown I remember fondly, because it was like the night before, like one of the nights leading up to Mania, and it was a very good SmackDown. But most of the time, I see them give the send off show on Raw, and then SmackDown is just kind of like a giant promotion for WrestleMania. It's like, anyway. So, Seth Rollins feels uneasy about the bloodline being here. Seth tells Jay that him and Cody will have his back tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who wasn't there at the end to protect him?
Yeah.
Six match.
Jay, where was Seth Rollins?
Where was Seth? Yeah, where was Seth? Anyway, Jey Uso versus Nakamura. I'm sure this was a good match. I just didn't see it, and Jay won.
Yeah, he won. Yeah, it was because of the it was like trying to. He thought Jay was going to lose at first, because they were starting to tease like the Bloodline guys showing up. So yeah, Jay, it was dealing with Jimmy and Solo potentially showing up. So that was kind of leading to potentially, Jay's going to lose. Nope, he ended up winning the fucking match at the end, which is surprising. So it ended up being a good ending for that part.
Yeah.
But then I sit there and wonder again, what the fuck was Seth Rollins?
Yeah. Apparently Cody Rhodes has signed a new deal with WWE that extends beyond his 40th birthday. So this guy has signed a lengthy contract with the company.
Yeah.
He's planning on being there. So that could be a sign that he's going to win. It could be. But I don't want him to. I want Reigns to surpass everybody. I want Reigns to surpass everybody, because it'd be absolutely hilarious. You know how many wrestling fans would get salty about that?
Dude.
They'll be like, but he never wrestled as much as the other guys did.
We're going to have 4 more years of this if that's the case, in order to surpass Santino. Bruno.
Oh, okay.
He's got 4 more years to go.
Okay, hold on. I changed my mind. I don't want him to surpass Bruno. Bruno was an impressive champion for his time, because that guy wrestled like quadruple the matches Reigns has as a champion.
Yeah.
And on top of that, he was selling out major arenas every month. He was like one of the OG champs of the time. Bruno, and then Bruno's story, Bruno, oh my God, he's honestly a legend. If you don't know enough about Bruno and you're wrestling fans, go look into the history of Bruno Sammartino. He's honestly, he was a national treasure. So, anyway, SmackDown. Let's go over what's going on real quick. Jade Cargill made her debut. And again, this is the chick I was saying that looks like she could dethrone Rhea Ripley. She has the physique to do it. What do you think about Jade Cargill or their debut?
Jake Cargill is like really showing up in a big impact right now. The fact, especially after the Women's Royal Rumble, showing how tough she is. People that have not watched AEW with her. My main problem with her in AEW is that like they made her so OP and so powerful, and she has no opposition outside of what like Chris Statlander there, and what was the one the trans wrestler? I forgot her name was. That was the champion prior to that, before the TBS champion. But like there really wasn't that much opposition against JD Cargill there, so she was kind of like a weak TV champion at this point because it felt like it was no reason. Like they overhyped her to the point that you didn't really do anything with her. I feel like with WWE having her here, they're slowly hyping her up and building up her character more and more as time goes on. And with her now potentially creating a faction with Bianca and what's her name, Naomi. Like I could be a big deal right now, especially with your damage control. They could take the belts off of them. I think that's the next step. Is that you're going to give Jay Cargill and Bianca or Naomi the tag team belts. That's going to start the new faction taking over SmackDown eventually, and I could easily see one of them taking the belt off of Bayley after WrestleMania. So I think it's a big deal going to be happening soon. That's a tease right there after they showed off how much she can do there.
I mean, it's like I mean, her entrance is something else, right? It's a step beyond others, and she had her contract signing with Nick Aldis, who is honestly still looking great as manager.
Oh yeah, he's great.
And so I mean, she's showing up, and she is like the only one on that roster with the physique that I'm like, okay, that's someone who you could believably see dethroning Rhea, like I said. But she doesn't look like she would just dethrone Rhea. She looks like she would run through the entire women's roster.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, like the only women on the roster that look like they could hurt somebody legitimately is Charlotte, Rhea, Jade, Nia Jax, the other fat chick. I forgot her name.
Oh, Piper Niven.
Yeah, her. She also but a good chunk of the women's wrestlers are fucking tiny and scrawny and little, and you're just like, they're like, this is supposed to be like an athletic competition, right? And we're supposed to have like some legitimate looking athletes, and then meanwhile we got like Becky Lynch out there. Anyway, it was a cool debut. It was pretty. She caught my attention. I was like, okay, I'm gonna keep an eye on this chick, because she looks like a star in the making. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and Belair defeated Dakota Kai. I didn't watch that match. Did you?
Yeah.
You did?
It was a good match. Yeah. Good match right there, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, again, I feel like well, that's the thing too. It's like I don't really see any future right here with the damage control. I honestly don't see it. Once WrestleMania is done, I expect that faction to dissolve itself as time goes on, because it's just like, especially with Bayley out of the mix, like that's gonna be old news at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know where the fuck like Dakota Kai has a future in this women's division. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that.
So there was a small story update with the Bloodline. It really wasn't shocking or surprised anybody, and that was that Paul Heyman revealed that it was Roman Reigns who ordered The Rock to attack Cody. We're like, oh wow, big shocker, and nobody's surprised about that. But it was also like it's a good way to show that they are the heel. Yeah, they're the heels, because like that's what a heel does. He's like, I want to make sure the challenger is weakened as much as possible leading up to Mania, so I can have an easy pickings on him, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so they're like, it is really like one of the biggest matches ever, because they're throwing so many obstacles in Cody Rhodes' way, and that's what's going to make it a very interesting match. I'm expecting Reigns to give 200%, bro. Like, and not just give the usual performance he does at a lot of pay-per-views. Like, I'm expecting him to give A+ performance, because you got to make it look like Cody Rhodes is like, if you want to sell Cody Rhodes as the next top guy, like your next Cena in the making, you have to give him that Super Cena status. You remember when like nothing could hold John Cena? Like I remember there was a Raw where they had every wrestler come out and hit their finisher on Cena, and then Batista comes out and Cena pops on his feet and is able to fight him. Like that's kind of what they're trying to do with Rhodes. Remember, like they've had Rhodes go through insane like obstacles to get here, so his story is interesting, as cringe as he can be. But who else are you gonna put in that spot? Anyway, so Pretty Deadly defeated Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. That was a fucking surprise. I know it was because of a Logan Paul interference, right?
That was the reason why the brass knucks hit Kevin Owens. That's the main reason they got the win.
Yeah. But Pretty Deadly getting the win over those two. That's monumental.
Yeah.
That's monumental for their career. But also it's weird. I mean, like you kind of want the baby faces like overcoming that obstacle and sending people home happy, right? But I guess Pretty Deadly won. That was a weird decision. Anyway, Logan Paul knocked out Owens with, he said. And then Orton goes and chases Logan Paul post-match. A-Town Dust, which is Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. That's their fucking team name?
A-Town Down Under, man. Come on now.
A-Town Down on. Oh, A-Town Down.
A-Town Down Under. Whatever, what are you laughing at? It's fucking what? That's their. You got an Australian fella. They're down under, and he's A-Town Down. Come on, what the fuck? What are you laughing over there? This ain't fun. This is serious business here.
When did they start using that name?
Well, they combine the two. He always says A-Town Down. You know.
I want to die in Minecraft. A-Town Down defeated the Street Profit. What?
Yeah.
Well, whatever.
Because AOP fucked with them. That's the reason why. The AOP Authors of Pain fucked with them on the cross. They've been back and forth between them and AOP, the Street Profits. You know, like with fucking Bobby Lashley. So, you know, it's been back and forth. I feel like that shit's all going to be early card matches because, like, they're talking about this, they're talking about another faction. They got fucking potentially a new faction being built with Andrade and everything. It's like, what the fuck? It's like there's so many factions being built. I can't keep track of them anymore.
But what was it? I still can't believe though that this match happened and this was the outcome. But
yeah, it's like I feel like this is like I don't know
why. We want the
like,
smoke.
It just shows how much they heavily rely on Cody and Roman and The Rock right now, and even Seth Rollins. Like, and none of them were there tonight. So it just shows you like how like if you take them out of the mix, you really haven't been prepping up these other people here. You kind of don't have a lot to work with, and that sucks too. Like for people like you have like legends like Randy Orton there, that's kind of like getting taken to the sidelines on this one, which kind of sucks. But you know, it is what it is.
These guys need like WWE is drastically in need of like a modern day New Age Outlaws kind of tag team. You know, a tag team that was almost as big as like the main roster guys. I mean, like at one point the New Age Outlaws were so over they wouldn't even allow like The Rock to get a pin on them. The Rock had to take a pin to the New Age Outlaws on a televised match between them and him and Mankind and them. It was like, wow, you know, like that's a huge team, right? You have pretty decent popular factions, but like none of them are like, wow, you know, if you know the champion isn't here tonight, we have this guy and this is just as good, you know. Instead,
that's what I'm saying. Like it feels like they're. I feel like Triple H is just building factions because like I want to give wrestlers that don't have a lot of TV time to give them something to do, rather than just sit back there and eat catering, basically.
Yeah.
You know, like how Vince used to do back in the day. So he's like, I'm going to put these wrestlers to work and have them come out and do a segment or two. But I'm not really going to build a lot on these guys. They're just kind of like filler segments for me, which sucks. You need to, if you're gonna start building these factions, give them some storyline. God damn it.
Yeah, no Titus O'Neil's catering, please. No, none of that.
Yes,
shit.
please no more catering, please.
Poor Titus O'Neil.
Poor Titus O'Neil.
Backstage and catering forever.
Okay,
Wait, is he still? Is he still there?
I think he's still. I think him and the Great Khali is probably still in catering, most likely.
Oh
and
God.
Omos will probably
Oh,
always covers catering no matter where he goes.
Dude, R-Truth. Like, the only person you can put in catering and actually turn it into something interesting is R-Truth. If you put him in catering, I will watch it.
Yes.
You know, they should have, like, catering backstage segments, but, you know, the wrestlers are probably too, like, they would be too insulted by that.
Stuff in their face the whole time, you know?
Because a lot of wrestlers take themselves so goddamn serious. But I would definitely love to see, like backstage catering for the wrestlers that are basically on the bench. You know?
It would be amazing.
It's like, it'd be awesome. Anyway, Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee challenged Dominic Mysterio and Santos Escobar to a match at Mania 40. You know, it's cool. I don't really have much to say about that segment.
Once again, it just feels like we're filling the card with this last minute shit. This feels like a kickoff match.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, yeah. So that's gonna be it's gonna be a big tag match. I don't have any investment in it though right now, and I'm a fucking Spanish speaker, and I don't give a shit. There was tension between Judgment Day. There's always tension between Judgment Day.
There's always tension between them. It's just like that's like a regular thing. It's Judgment Day involved. There's some tension there.
Wow. There was tension between Judgment Day, you don't say. Wow, I never.
You don't say.
About their individual ambitions, the meeting was sparked by Dominic not informing his allies about renewing the rivalry with Rey. Damian Priest teased cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase at Mania 40. I mean, teased. He has to. He doesn't have a choice.
He has to. Otherwise, dude, imagine if he never cashed it in. Oh my God, the whole hyping up of senior Money in the Bank and you do nothing with it. Oh my God, this is what I'm saying. Yeah. They need to stop making pay-per-views like Money in the Bank as a pay-per-view. Make that shit part as a wrestling match at WrestleMania.
But that's when it meant something. It meant so much when it was at Mania. But aren't we gonna have a ladder match at Mania? Are we having one? I'm trying to remember.
I don't think so. Oh
man, dude. Oh well.
I'll have to double check. I mean, I think we should maybe make a one episode.
Yeah.
Right before right before WrestleMania night 1. We should have our predictions for night 1 and night 2. Now that we have the cards lined up, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We'll do a prediction show. Hell, we might do it live.
Maybe we might do a live show. Maybe we might do a live one.
Yeah, I might do a live predictions with the chat giving some of their own. The Bloodline announced Solo Sikoa versus Jey Uso for SmackDown next week. Nobody fucking cares. New Catch Republic, Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate defeated Legado del Fantasma, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo via pinfall. Wow, this was really a throwaway show, wasn't it?
Like I said, it's like it just shows like how weak the storylines are outside of the main event.
Yeah, no, like all WWE's money's invested in their main eventers right now. So, LA Knight dressed as a security guard blindsided a paranoid AJ Styles. AJ Styles looks fucking jacked, bro. I was like, I was looking at the promo he had. I was like, what the fuck, AJ? How did you get so jacked recently? He's just so like, have you noticed? He's like fucking a tank. I'm like, I think that's the craziest physique I've ever seen AJ be in.
Dude, like I said, I told you, like he's got that, like when he had that house, the house break-in and everything like that, the fights over there at the house. Mm-hmm. That shit felt like looking at the Macho Man back in 1999 vibes with him with the black bandana on.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
he's got the goatee going on. Like, it looked like the Macho Man back then.
You were right. You showed me that picture where it's like, doesn't AJ look like Macho Man has that vibe? I'm like, he absolutely does. Yeah, that segment also reminded me of. Remember that segment on Raw years ago where Triple H broke into Randy Orton's home?
Yes.
And threw him out his window and beat the shit out of him until the cop showed up. I remember watching that live when it first happened. I was like, wow. It was hilarious back then because it was clearly like a prop set. You know, it was like cheap tempered like glass.
No, apparently that actually was their house.
What? Really?
I really, if you look it up, I'm pretty. I think maybe Wrestling Bios brought it up. It's like I think that like they were moving out of the house or some shit. It was one of those two. Like I think like I'm pretty sure that's Orin's house.
Yeah. I will say though, I'm still like if I were AJ, I would still be proud to this day to have been Undertaker's final match, which is that is a career highlight for AJ Styles to have been Undertaker's final opponent. I would have been like, hell the fuck yeah. I don't know what I don't find myself believing in aging much anymore, but he used to be like my guy, you know. Back in like from 2017 to like 2019, I was like, all right, AJ is the, you know, he's the guy. He's the face that runs this place. It's the house that AJ Styles built. All that stuff. But
You know the funny thing is, with him and LA Knight, it feels like we're watching a TNA match at WrestleMania between the two of them.
It is because
They're both in TNA. You know what I mean?
I think they had matches in TNA.
Nick Aldis being from TNA sanctions the match. It feels like we're seeing a TNA match at WrestleMania here.
This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Like back in like the 2010s, I would have never imagined any like wrestler that was built up on a different brand ever making their way to the WWE. But like, you know, Triple H is the one that got Vince to say yes to that.
Oh yeah,
you know 100%. He is because like, man, they brought in so many faces I never thought you would see in wrestling, like in the WWE ever. You know, like AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, fucking Nick Aldis, like you said. R-Truth was like that rarity. They brought him back from TNA, but they repackaged him as the R-Truth we have now, and I wouldn't have it any other way with R-Truth. I like him as he is right now. Anyway, it was a very uneventful SmackDown. Honestly, you didn't have to watch anything here. To be fair, there isn't really anything worth watching that much outside of the main event card, like you said, and that is a problem because
it is a problem.
The mid-carders, they need a reason for you to watch. Like, why do you think like ratings only spike when the main event people come out and stuff? And why do you think like they flatline or they basically die when you get to these segments with like A-Town and the Street Profits?
Well, that's like what I like about WrestleMania is that we're like how it was previous year. It's like you build up these long storylines that outside of the main event, there's actually some good matches that have some resolutions of their stories. They're going to come to a resolution at WrestleMania. So that's what made WrestleMania very unique. Because to me, outside the Mania main event, you know, for both nights and what Drew and Seth Rollins match, I really don't have that much investment for a lot of these matches. It feels like kind of like how UFC does. Mm-hmm. UFC really hypes up their main event. But everything else is kind of filler leading up to it for the most part.
So let's actually go down the WrestleMania card real quick. Hold on. Because here we go. Predicting match order Saturday. Here we go. Here's the match order. So this is the predicted order of the matches, but these are the official matches that are there. So anyway, who cares about the order of them, but here's what we got so far. Women's World Champion match, Becky Lynch versus Rhea Ripley. Well, they predict that that'll kick off the show. I believe it. I believe that'll kick off the show. The Women's Championship match.
You think so? You think so? That will be the kickoff?
Because, like, this is not that hyped of a match. You know?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
We'll see. People say number 2. Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio.
That's a kickoff match.
You think so? I think, yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, like a pre-show or like you mean like pay-per-view kickoff?
Either that's the pay-per-view kickoff or that's a pre-show match for the two.
Yeah. Jey Uso versus Jimmy Uso. Believe it or not, I believe that is actually going to be a pre-show match.
That's a mid-card match.
It's just, there's no hype between this match because, like, if it was, like, if Jey Uso or fuck, I always confuse which one's the popular one. Like if like both the twins were equally popular, this would get over more. But obviously, like, the fans adore one twin, and the other twin they don't give a shit about. So it's like, it's not that hype of a match. Intercontinental match. I don't think Intercontinental Championship match is gonna happen the first night. But it's gonna be Sami Zayn, Sami Zayn and Gunter. I see that being a second night match. I don't see that being in fourth place either. And then in fifth place, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Dakota Kai, Asuka, and Kairi Sane. That's just a SmackDown match right there.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
what I mean.
We see that on SmackDown all the time. You know what I mean? Like, but whatever. I guess that's a WrestleMania match. I guess. And then number 6, I believe this will be the close-off match of the night. It has to be, Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. I can't believe they actually announced him as Seth.
I thought that's night 2. I thought that was night 2.
Seth Rollins versus The Rock and Roman Reigns. No, it has to.
The tag team is the main event. I'm pretty sure Seth Rollins' heavyweight championship belt is night 2.
Is night 2? Yeah. Well, this is the tag team match though that they're announcing here, right? So, didn't The Rock say that's night 1 and then night 2 is the championship match? Isn't that what
I'm saying? It's the tag team is going to be night 1 for the main event, and then night 2 is going to be their own separate championship matches.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I think that's the correct order there. And then match 2, or night 2, sorry, predicted match card. To start off, triple threat match for the United States Championship. Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens versus Logan Paul. I believe that could start off the night, but I really think this should be like a first night match. Who do you think is going to win on that one?
Which one?
For the triple threat for the United States Championship.
The United States Championship, I think it's still going to end up being Logan Paul.
Yeah, me too. He's too good. He's too good to take off right now. And he's also showing up to SmackDown more frequently now, too.
He is.
Yeah. Number 2, LA Knight versus AJ Styles. Honestly, this should be like a street fight instead of an actual match.
I think that there's rumors that that's going to be the case. It's going to be a street fight at the end of the day.
Like it
should be down.
I don't think it should be like an officiated. I don't even think it should be like an officiated ring match. Like just or a falls count anywhere. It could even be a falls count anywhere. But like I would like to see these two brawl all over. Mania. Make it like make it a pretty good fight. Because like a wrestling match just doesn't fit this rivalry. Doesn't feel right. LA Knight comes off more as a brawler. AJ comes off as like a gymnastic jerk off, as LA Knight would say. It'd be really fun to see these two like just tear it all over the arena. Anyway, then the World Heavyweight Championship match. I doubt they're gonna have the Universal and the World Heavyweight Championship in the same night.
I think so.
You think so?
You gotta lead into both of them.
You're right. You have to give them
right
a night.
Now.
You have to give them a night.
You gotta give them a night. Give them a night with their lowest point right now, and one of them's gonna walk out as the winner, and it's gonna be probably
I will
Cody.
say though, hey, you gotta admit though, the champions actually putting in the work is pretty cool to see, right?
I've told you, it's the full timers versus the part timers right now, and that's the whole thing. And the full timers are putting in the work, like you said.
They're gonna wrestle 2 back-to-back nights, and that's what believe it or not, but that's what the champions like Bruno Sammartino used to do back in the day. They would wrestle. Sometimes they would wrestle a championship, more than one championship match a night. It was like a crazy time back then. Like the way
it was a different time, way different time back then.
The way belts were contended for back then was way different. Way different. It was like you had to defend it every territory you went into. There was no like option, And then Vince McMahon came along and figured that if you build anticipation, more people will buy into a title match, thus forever changing the structure completely, right? So. But this is really cool to see though, because I'm glad that the wrestlers are going to show you that this is why they are the champions, because they're going to like fucking They're gonna wrestle 2 nights. That's brutal. And both nights you're supposed to give like 200%. You know? So it'll be crazy. Anyway, then in 4th place, WWE Women's Champion match, Bayley versus Io Sky. My
Bailey's taking that. Bailey's taking that belt.
Yeah, I mean, she's destined for it. It's like, yeah. All right. Oh, right. See, here's the ladder match. I knew it. So there's a 6-pack ladder match for the Undisputed Tag Team Championship.
Ooh.
Now that sounds pretty tight. That sounds
Especially
tight.
with DIY involved.
Yeah,
Oh,
Awesome
man.
Truth, New Catch, Republic, DIY, The New Day, Grayson Waller and Austin, and the Judgment. Damn, the Judgment Day's gonna be in that one. See, that feels like a classic like chaos all over the place Mania ladder match. You know, like we used to have with the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian, right? We had chaotic ladder matches at Mania. So that's gonna be cool, man. It feels throwback. I'm actually very much looking forward to that match. And then number 6, obviously the final one, the Universal Championship match, Cody versus Roman. My money is still on Roman. My money is.
I would agree with you if it wasn't for the contract extension now for Cody. It's probably going to be the case most likely. I would be shocked.
Yeah.
I would laugh my ass off if we like how it was last year when everyone thought that was going to happen, and I was the only. It was only me in the room that was saying the whole thing. Like Roman's going to definitely win this thing.
Yeah.
No way, and when it happened, so many people got so mad. And I was laughing my ass off.
I remember they were telling you to shut up. I was like,
Shut up, Delta. Like,
shut up, Delta.
Hysterically.
And dude, I was like. I was a little like I was like I just couldn't help but like laugh along too after I saw how much fun you were having. I'm like, this is too fun though. But like Delta was the man who predicted Roman would win. I had a crazy prediction that came into fruition last year. That's when I joked. I was like, well, imagine if Nia Jax comes out at number 30.
Yeah.
And she did. And she came out and I was like joking to you guys. I'm like, guys, hey, imagine if it goes, I'm not like most girls. And you guys are like, no, don't even say that, Frit. Like, don't even say that, Frit. It's like, I'm not like, we're like, ah!
There was so many people groaning when that happened. Oh,
dude,
man.
it was a total Frit Stradamus moment. It was wild. So who knows? Maybe some of my predictions will come true here. But as for our predictions, we'll save that for another show because that sounds like that just sounds like an episode in of its own, doesn't it?
It does. It does sound like that.
Any other wrestling news we wanted to cover? I think we've heard most of what there is, and I mean, we already covered Rhea Ripley's Twitter scandalous stuff, right? Where people on Twitter were crying about her. I mean, wrestling fans are pretty stupid on social media in general.
Wrestling fans are so dumb now, especially with the whole back and forth of tribalism between AEW and WWE. It's so dumb right now. I don't get the whole thing.
It's crazy because wrestlers have had to learn to evolve. They've had to learn how to evolve kayfabing, right? And the way they've done that is, acknowledging that their wrestling personas are just that, personas, but saving small actual problems with each other behind the scenes as the drama, right? And that actually works because it still hooks into a bit of reality.
Yeah.
So
blurs the lines a bit.
Yeah, blurs the lines a bit. So so like the whole like Cody Rhodes and The Rock stuff seemed like The Rock was like believably angry at Rhodes. It sold people because some people actually believed The Rock was there to take his main event away, and it worked. And then people turn on The Rock, and then you give The Rock a chance to talk on the mic, and people are like, "Wait, no, you should have been the main event."
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know if it's like done unintentionally, if it's like they're like making Cody and Seth like weak on purpose because they'll make people regret the fact that like they had this match and they took it away from you guys. Had it and it was you guys let it throw it down the toilet, and now all of a sudden like people are regretting like Cody because he's kind of a weak sauce right now, and so is Seth. Like, I don't know.
I know why
I
they
don't
do
know.
it. I know why they do this, Delta. It's because they want to get people talking. Because when you get people talking on social media, you go ahead and you look at what they're talking about, and you can get new ideas and read your demographic differently. You know, and that's why they do it. I mean, credit where credit's due. Like the company has learned to keep me interested by by doing stuff like this, by making certain things drive the community wild, things that blur the lines between reality and fiction, like you said. Like it's like The Rock taking Cody's main event away seemed like a very like it pissed people off because it's like it seemed very real, very
Yeah.
legitimate. It was very believable, and it made you want to hate The Rock, but you couldn't. That's the great part. You can't. I can't hate The Rock. He's right about everything he says about Cody. He was right
Speaking
about
of blurred
everything.
lines,
He's
speaking of blurred lines, just side note this, like, like talk about AEW briefly. Like, there's no talks about MJF like coming back anytime soon, and
oh
they took him off the website. I don't know what's gonna happen with him, and I sit there and wonder: is there really anything left for MJF to do at AEW? He's kind of done everything.
I
Like,
mean, honestly,
hey, they're moving to Netflix now.
yeah. Wait, who is
I
AEW?
was like, WWE is
Oh,
moving to
oh yeah,
Netflix now.
yeah. No, they
So
are.
it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Things could change drastically pretty soon with the, WWE going to Netflix.
How crazy is it though that it's just wild because like where like wrestling no longer being like a live TV broadcasted thing.
Oh, it's still live.
It'll be
Yeah.
live. It'll be live, but like different, in a different way now.
Yeah.
On Netflix, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Streaming service.
wild. That is actually wild to me. Like, a lot of
Also
people.
different than having it on the Peacock. It's
Man,
just on Netflix now.
yeah, you can watch it live on the Peacock as well. But I was so used to watching my wrestling through like TV for a long ass time in my life, and then like when we switched to watching wrestling through like live broadcast, not live broadcast, I mean live streaming. It really changed it because like sometimes it's iffy on Peacock, right? Sometimes like you get like loading problems here and there, and the viewing experience is it's kind of a bit of a downgrade compared to being broadcasted, but it is like significantly cheaper because I'm not going to pay for cable just to watch Raw, right? I'm not going to pay for cable just to watch SmackDown, so this is a pretty cool alternative. I'm glad to see that they were able to secure that Netflix deal. I don't know how they did it. Oh wait, no, I do know. The Rock took most of the credit.
Exactly.
Let's be real though. He ain't lying though, is he, Delta?
Well, I'm
He,
just saying. I'm just saying, like, no, I'm not saying like MGS is gonna like jump ship quick. I think he might write out his contract with AEW to make the move then, because like, Netflix is happening. The Rock's now bigger in the picture now. He's kind of done everything he possibly could do at AEW at this point. Like, and he's already talked to John Cena when they were doing that premiere for
yeah,
the for that one movie that came out recently, Iron
yeah.
Claw. So it's like John Cena's already been trying to convince him to come to WWE already.
Yeah. I know he's going to. I know he's
So
gonna make his way to WWE, but the question is he gonna be like, a grand debut like at Mania, or is he gonna just like show up starting at NXT from the bottom, work his way
I don't
up,
think NXT. I don't think NXT at all. I think he'll show up at like
main
Royal
roster?
Rumble or some shit.
Yeah, he's gonna show up in the main roster.
Mm.
You know what?
You know what's funny?
Royal Rumble is perfect actually. Yeah.
You know the funny thing though is, the whole thing with CM Punk that happened with AEW and like the whole fallout that happened with him and CJ Perry.
Uh huh.
Now CJ Perry is working I think he's working over at freaking New Japan Wrestling, and he's ripped up his script apparently. Apparently, Tony Khan has not brought him back at all, so that shit's legit. He has not come back to AEW.
Wow.
So,
what is
he's-
going on
I
with
don't know.
this company?
I don't know.
What is
I don't know what's going on with AEW. I have no clue. That's a whole can of worms. We'd have to. That's a whole different discussion we should have whole episode on, in my opinion.
I'm just glad because like more people have seen the light now. Because like
CJ Perry, my bad. It's talk about Jungle Boy, my bad.
Jungle
What
Boy.
the fuck? My
Jungle
apologies.
Boy, yeah. Because like 2 years ago, AEW fans would have lost their shit hearing my opinions about the brand. Now they're like, yeah. You know, like they agree.
And it sucks. It sucks. I loved AEW in the first year. I thought AEW's first year was very refreshing, and right now it feels like it's a lesser brand. There's made some good matches here and there, but the storylines are garbage for the most part.
Yeah.
Which sucks. Again, it's just like the main thing was a great alternative at the time when Vince was, still in charge. This is gone now, and a lot of the complaints that everyone has are mostly mitigated outside of the women's roster, if you ask me. But AEW is not really fixing that issue either. To be fair,
Yeah.
so
It's such a far cry from where they were, or how they started.
it sucks.
And
I
it's
wonder
like,
how much Cody had to play in there.
I don't know, but a lot of people had a lot of faith in AEW, dude. People devoted themselves to the brand in the hopes that wrestling could spark life again because they said WWE was killing wrestling. And now it's like a few years later, all the talk about wrestling is because of WWE now, you know?
It is.
Because like they have the most they have all the top stars, they have the most interesting matches and storylines. They have my attention, they have my money. I don't know what to tell AEW. Like when they get like there's nothing they can do. Every time they get a star, they fumble it. Each and every single time.
Unfortunately. It's unfortunate.
And then, honestly, to be real with you, I'm not comfortable watching the wrestlers nearly kill themselves.
Especially with Darby Allin. I that guy will be dead in the next 5 years.
Wrestling,
the way things are going.
Wrestling never needed anything like that back then. It doesn't need it now. You know, these like I mean, I don't mind if people enjoy death matches and stuff, right? But like, you know, you're at a live attendance in an arena. You know, you're renting out an arena and you're having glass splash into the audiences. Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, that's insane to me. It's like you're allowing glass to be splashed into the audience. Are you out of your fucking mind right now?
This isn't some fucking backyard death match, gore match bullshit. You know, this is like
It feels like that with a bigger budget.
A live pay-per-view, you know, and John Moxley all fucking hooked up on booze and cocaine, just stabbing his head like. Like it's for the shock value, but you know what? It's not moving numbers. I think it's actually part of the reason people don't tune in. They're like, I don't like. Yeah, I want to see violence in my wrestling, but I don't want to see like wrestlers actually die one day, right?
They just do it so frequent to the point that it's now become desensitized. It lacks the impact. Look at something like with The Rock and Cody and taking the blood off of Cody's head and putting it on the belt. That's some real shock value because you don't see that stuff that much often in WWE, and that's a big deal. Because once you pull back on that stuff and actually use it sparingly, it does give you a big impact, and people are like, "Holy fuck, that's crazy."
Or The Rock dropping F-bombs, censored albeit, but if you're there live, you heard that F-bomb, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And 100%. You have the kids there with you, and there's Cody Rhodes bleeding out, and The Rock saying fuck, and you have your kids with you in the audience. It's like the 90s again almost, you know? It has that. It's not like, I'll take this back. Okay, you know, it's a far cry from the 90s, okay?
It's a far cry, but it's still...
But like what I'm saying is like it's going back down that road of like it's up to adults to know what wrestling is and to decide whether they're okay with their kids watching it or not. That is now being brought back, you know, instead of like let's desensitize make wrestling as PG as possible, because that never did it any favors with the adult demographics. Like wrestling has to appeal to adults and kids, you know, and I think the sweet spot of that was the Attitude Era, the 90s, where like everyone, like, I mean, it was hard not to find wrestling fans back then, you know? Everybody was talking about wrestling. And in the 2000s, a bit as well. It was just like the drop-off period happened in the mid-2000s. Or not like the 2010s. That's like, I would say when the drop-off happened. So, and then AEW came along and like, we're not going to be PG. We're going to be like, we're going to swear. There's going to be blood. And it's like, awesome. And it's like, It's like because you wanted like when you hear that, you're expecting them to use it creatively, right? They're like, hey, we can cuss, we can get bloodied up, we can have gore and violence. It's like awesome, use it sparingly. You know, like you shouldn't have to tell them, but every other pay-per-view it's like, oh, who wants to see John Moxley do something retarded to himself? Oh yay, this is not getting old. This is not like, it doesn't mean anything. You gotta use the blood and the cursing sparingly, like they're doing right here with The Rock. Like, you notice other wrestlers aren't choosing to do that, only like The Rock is really doing it, right? So anyway, that's, I think, all we got to really say. We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. No more other wrestling stories. I think that's about it. So
That's about it. Yeah.
What do you-
Like I said, we're leading into WrestleMania. It's WrestleMania week is upon us.
yeah.
I'm excited.
So there's gonna be that 800s guy wants to host a WrestleMania party watch. Leading up to WrestleMania. I think he wants to watch like all of WrestleMania 23. And I was like, that actually sounds kind of fun. I actually do kind of want to watch that. So, the watch party, I'll leave a link to where the watch party can be viewed in the bio, or not the bio, in the description here of this video.
Yeah. If people want to attend it.
Yeah, if people want to attend it, because that sounds kind of fun, doesn't it? So
Yeah, it does sound a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right, this has been Frit. I'm done here. I don't have any more to say. I just have a bunch of bongs to smoke. And Delta, you have anything to say before we leave?
No, thank you guys for listening once again. Another week coming on, and we appreciate you guys listening to this from start to finish. And we're looking forward to WrestleMania, as much as you guys are.
Just sir. All right, everybody. Have yourselves a good one. We'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.